I think Andy Millman is probably, on the face of it, less iconic than David Brent. David Brent's a very big comedy character.
That was 20 seconds. The fifth and final time he ever hosted the Globes. The opening sentence detonates the entire architecture of celebrity host accountability before the broadcast even begins. Listen to what he just did. He preemptively eliminated every leverage point the room could possibly use against him. The career consequences, the professional rebuke, the institutional disapproval, all of it neutralized in 20 seconds before a single joke has been told. This is what happens when a comedian shows up to a moral tribunal already wired to detonate the room. The persona on stage is not a defendant. The persona on stage is the building inspector who placed every charge himself, then arrived early to laugh at the cracks. The cackle that follows every controversial line is not nervous laughter. The cackle is a system feedback signal, confirmation that the calculation worked, that the wetware in the audience produced the expected response on schedule. What follows is a forensic walkthrough of one demolition architect across 13 years of broadcast appearances. The charges placed in plain view, the cackle as the detonator signal, the audience as wetware to be debugged in real time, and every single time, the same engineering, the same controlled blast, the same casual walkaway. The Post-Demolition Interview. 13 years earlier, the first time he hosted, the 68th Globes had just produced the largest comedian versus Hollywood backlash in awards television history. Robert Downey Jr. had walked out. The Hollywood Foreign Press Association was already drafting the postmortem. Every major American newsroom had run the same headline phrase, "He will never host again." And the next morning, the comedian sat down in a New York studio across from a punitive interviewer, a former British tabloid editor adopting the posture of a disappointed schoolmaster, to receive his ritual scolding. Listen to what the architect did with the scolding. The host loses the room inside the first reply. The punitive frame collapses. The architect sips his beer and grins. The wiring of media power has just been visibly inverted on live television. The Rhythmic Override. 9 years of broadcast architecture later, same comedian, larger stakes. The 2020 Globes is a controlled demolition zone. 5 years of accumulated cultural pressure on celebrity behavior. The post-Me Too apparatus at maximum institutional power. The audience is on hair trigger alert. The architect arrives at a joke about a string of high-profile documentaries that share a dark thematic thread. He places the charge. The audience signals the gasp. And then comes the rhythmic device, the documented signature of the entire archive, deployed at the exact moment the room begins to police him. The repetition is the engineering. 2 beats, same phrase. The room's collective disapproval is converted into nervous laughter. The architect has bullied the wetware into submission inside 3 seconds. The engineering admission. After every controlled demolition, the architect goes on a circuit of friendly chairs to explain the engineering. The most candid of those chairs is a long-running British chat show with a host who is also a comedian, who knows exactly what he's looking at, and who asks exactly the right question. Why do you do it? Why do you let the room hate you? Why do you push past the point at which any normal performer would retreat? The answer that follows is the most analytically honest moment in the entire archive. The architect admits that the offense is not a side effect of the comedy. The offense is the load-bearing structural element. The engineering admission is total. The discomfort is the fuel. The release is the function. The comedy is the structural failure analysis of a room he has just stress-tested. The Anthony Hopkins category error. The pattern reverses. After 13 years of building demolitions, the architect now walks into the radio studios where the formal inspectors are waiting. The post-broadcast inquiry. The morning after the controlled blast, December 2023. A streaming special drops with an explicit ableist slur in the opening minutes. The condemnation engine activates. The morning shows queue up, and the comedian sits down with the most rigorous professional inquisitor on British public radio to receive the formal questioning. The defense the architect offers is not an apology. The defense is a category error correction. The mapping is total. The slur is to the comedian what the cannibalism is to the actor. To press the question past that point is to reject the entire concept of performance art as a category. The fourth wall trap. 18 months earlier, May 2022, another streaming special. Different controversy entirely. A multi-minute set on gender identity triggers the largest organized advocacy group condemnation of the comedian's career. GLAAD issues a formal statement. Netflix internal protests follow. The condemnation infrastructure mobilizes at full scale. And mid-show, the architect does something almost no working comedian ever does. He stops the bit, breaks the fourth wall on the live recording, looks directly at the camera, and reads into the master tape that will be uploaded to 190 countries, an unambiguous philosophical statement of his real-world position. The clarification is not a softener. The clarification is a trap. Once the position is on the master tape, no critic can call him a bigot without first calling him a liar. The trap closes. The battlefield has shifted from his personal morality to a debate over the literary mechanics of irony, a domain where the architect has total authority. The Petition as Heckler. Now back to the December 2023 inquiry. Same studio, same inquisitor, new angle. The host produces the document, the Change.org petition signed by tens of thousands of viewers, coordinated, organized, headline generating, the exact infrastructure that has ended dozens of comedy careers in the past decade. And the architect is asked the modern question every working comedian fears. How do you respond to a real, documented mass campaign demanding your removal? The answer that follows is mathematical. It treats the petition not as a moral document, but as a logistical statistic. And it converts the entire concept of organized cultural backlash into a single noisy customer in the back of a comedy club. The reframe is unanswerable. The petition is a heckler. The signatures are noise. The duty of care lies with the silent majority. The cultural reckoning frame has just been demoted to crowd management. The Graveside Inheritance. This is where the engineering breaks. For 7 minutes, the demolition architect has been visibly enjoying his own work. The cackle, the defiant beer, the mathematical dismissals, the detached technical mapping of the slur to the cannibal. Every defense delivered with the same casual amusement of a contractor pointing at a hairline crack he placed there himself. Then in April 2020, 3 weeks into the launch of a streaming series about a man whose wife has just died, the comedian sits down for a long-form magazine interview. Different chair. No audience. No room to engineer. The interviewer asks the question that the entire previous decade of broadcast combat has not produced an answer to. Why dark comedy? Why this specific instinct, this specific structural attraction to the grim, the mortal, the unsayable? Where does the engineering actually come from? The answer drops the cackle entirely. The voice softens. The pause is real. And the architect produces, for the first time on the broadcast record, the original blueprint. The location is not a comedy club. The location is not a writer's room. The location is a working-class graveside in Reading, the county town of Berkshire, at the funeral of his mother. And the people gathered around the coffin are laughing through tears at the absurd mechanics of the speeches being read. The schematic just turned over. The dark comedy is not the work of a privileged Hollywood operator. The dark comedy is the survival instinct of a working-class household at a graveside, laughing through the tears at the absurd grief of the speeches. The epistemological substrate. Now, after the twist, the architect is no longer just a demolition engineer. The audience has been shown the wiring diagram underneath the cackle. The dark comedy is the inheritance. The defiance is the family liturgy. And the rest of the philosophical framework, every defense, every reframe, every refusal, is built on the same hyper-rationalist substrate. Approximately 2017, a late-night appearance. The host is one of the most outspoken Catholic moralists in American television, opening a friendly but deeply serious debate on the architecture of belief itself. The question is whether atheism rests on faith. The architect's answer is the cleanest articulation of his entire epistemology. The same epistemology that produces the dismissal of public outrage, the mathematical Heckler equivalency, the meat-computer view of audience reaction. The doctrine sits underneath everything. Subjective feelings cannot stress-test reality. Outrage is fiction. Hurt feelings are fiction. Material physical truth is the only structure that survives the destruction of the books. The compilation returns to the demolition zone for the closing argument, January 5th, 2020. The 77th Globes. The architect has been on stage for almost 10 minutes. The Epstein joke has detonated. The Pope joke has detonated. The audience has been groaned into compliance 4 separate times. The room is structurally exhausted. NBC executives in the booth are watching the broadcast standards complaints arrive in real time. The Hollywood Foreign Press Association has already mentally drafted the apology statement that will go out at sunrise. And the architect now does the thing that converts the entire evening from a sequence of controlled demolitions into a single coherent thesis statement. He turns from the script and addresses the room directly. He preemptively polices their morality. He strips them of their assumed cultural authority. He inverts the entire structure of celebrity political activism in a single closing instruction. And he delivers it with the cackle still in place, casually, the way an engineer signs off on a finished demolition site. This is the closing argument. The architect walks off. The room is completely demolished. The frame has reversed. The celebrity class has been told to receive their statues and leave the moral microphone where it belongs. The cackle is still on the master tape. The wetware behaves predictably. The schematic has not changed in 13 years. The architect lights the fuse and walks away.